Technology is an important part of what we do here at AGS. We have a strong belief in trying to develop 21st century learning skills with our kids. When I went to school, or when many people went to school, children were taught in isolation. They would work in. They were taught that you wanted to complete all your assignments alone, and that you weren't. To not do so was considered wrong. And we find it really strange. Like if you think about it, as we compare it to the skills that we want our kids to have when they enter the workforce, or they go to university, or they go to college, or they do a trade. If a student was sitting in university, or if they were in a workplace and they didn't know the answer to a problem, they could text someone to get the answer. They could go on Google. They could Google it. They could research it. They could use their email. And for years, if you did that in school, it would be considered cheating, where everywhere else is considered collaboration. So we're trying to let the kids know that it is okay to not know the answer, and that everything's not a test, and that they should be able to reach out and use those resources to collaborate with their classmates to find answers. Another thing that we find with technology is it really enables project-based learning and problem-based learning, where the kids can try to solve problems and work together, where traditionally you couldn't do that in the classroom. There was a teacher, I don't know if she'd mentioned it to you, that was using the iPads, that she used the comparison of a project in the class, where in the past, one of their projects was to do a research project on a zoo animal. And she would take the children to the library, and they would do some research on the zoo animal. And she would find typically what the kids would do, they would either copy directly out of the book, or they would just paraphrase what was written in the book and write that down as their project. As opposed to using the iPads, the kids were downloading, like one might do it on a cheetah, and they were downloading videos of exactly how fast the cheetah could run, or they would be seeing research that was being done on endangered species, going into areas that they'd never be able to see just by going to the library. So those are the types of things that we try to do.
Like, you have to look up different animals, and like you have to look up your animal that you are working on, and you had to write about it, and you had to write what does a giraffe eat, and giraffe facts and all that. Like, you can look up facts on giraffes, and you can look up different things, and when it turns purple, you already looked up on it.
You like working on iPads? Yeah.
It helps me to learn.
It helps you learn?
Helps me learn about different animals, and it makes me easier.
Great. And with the teachers, is it a challenge to get them to work with the technologies?
Yes, yeah, it always is. I find as teachers, if you're going to be a 21st century learner, you have to, or teacher, you have to abandon the belief that you own all the knowledge. You have to accept that sometimes your students might actually have more knowledge than you do in a specific area, and we see that all the time. The smart boards are a great example. If we have a supply teacher that comes in and they don't know how to use the smart board, maybe they've never used one, the kids will get up and teach the teacher how to use the smart board. And that happens every day.
I got 30 minutes.
13 seconds left, honey. Look, he had 10 bones, and he has 13 seconds on the clock. Was that better than yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
How many seconds did you have yesterday?
5.
You had 5 seconds left, so you did you do better this time?
Yeah, I did 13.
You did. Thank you. Good job.
You did it.
Have a seat. Thank you. Ken?
You'll be doing something even in administration. A kid will be sitting here in the office, and you'll be struggling to do something, and they'll say, oh, I know how to do that. And I mean, that's a hard concept for teachers to grasp, and sometimes it could feel like you're losing control of your classroom, but you're not. That really is what a learning environment should look like, to understand that everybody has some knowledge that they can share in this. But it is harder. It is hard. But I find that what works best is if we have teams in the school, and we have certain teachers that are almost experts in certain areas. Like, instead of trying to have a technician that you think you can go to get all your answers for, to try to spread that around, and then teachers always have somebody they can go to for support.